23 was very close. They lost only 16-14 there, so maybe it is a map that they are capable of playing. They perhaps put a little bit of time into it since then in terms of practice, but there hasn't been any official. So if they want to come out swinging, if they want to get confidence in these early stages, picking up Ancient, taking their own map choice, that will be the way to do it. As we said, even then, if they get it all the way to Dust 2 as the decider, it's a scrappy map. It's one where we think the firepower of Bad News Eagles could shine through as well. There's a lot on the line. Furry UNGENTIUM. So they have a full name there that we didn't see before. Interesting. Or Furry Fury, sorry.
I'm going to refuse to pronounce that, but the B hit's already coming in, so I won't have to. Julie's flashed into the angle. It's a rough old fight for Synopsy, though. An early 1-for-1 as through the smoke goes JxXx to try and have some impact. The auto director's having an absolute mare here, but we are recovering the situation. As into the 4-on-4 we head. Scenario already dinked down, but it doesn't matter as JxXx inside a dig grabs himself a very swift double kill. And with just Groovy and Sydney now stuck on that ramp, headshot angle. Groovy able to grab at least one, but Scenario on low HP immediately there with the response. And, well, RigoN tapping away. It's not clean. It's a little messy around the edges, but bNE will not mind one bit. The B-site retake lands, and the CT start gets off to winning ways.
Yeah, fantastic, as you said, from JxXx getting that double kill. That's what really swung things back around in their favor. Otherwise, you would have had UNGENTIUM rather having a bit of time to set themselves up on that after plant. If they had any sort of cave control as well, even just being able to run down a bit more time would have made things a ton easier. Instead now, they will be going for a force buy, as you'd expect off the back of that bomb plant. Galil's across the board. Prism, he's yet to buy, but he has 1850 there, so we could go for a rifle, or he might get a pistol and some nades. No, he goes for the Galil as well. So, I mean, it's not too bad in terms of firepower. They're not quite equally matched, but the Galils definitely can put up a solid fight. And because Bad News Eagles rather have gone fully into these M4s, they have very little utility to actually run down time with. So after a few seconds here, we should have UNGENTIUM having their opportunity to start playing for some picks.
Got one smoke left to work with. So realistically, a full B hit is not on the cards here. Smoke off maybe an angle. Might even need to use it to get out of these double doors, as for the moment, they're hanging 4 people behind them. JxXx is about to go peeking for this, and Groovy is watching the angle down low. Not to be finished off, but there's multiple bodies headed JxXx's way. Deals with the first, tries to back off, needs the reload. That baits them into the crosshair to JxXx, and the combo's good. Early 2v4, and JxXx just keeps on swinging. Sydney now left up on his own, will at least trade away, but he's digged down to 9 HP, and Synopsy is very quickly there to stabilize. And again, that's the problem, right? Lack of utility. They've really got nothing to do. As soon as they're charging through those double doors, it's clear sight lines, it's clear angles, and it's a clear plan from bNE to grab their second.
Just well handled in the fights, and it's ideal that they only lose the 2 players there as well. I mean, reinvestment does have to come back in on JxXx and JxXx, and they do both go straight for rifle, so they're not really going to be aiming to build up any money here, which maybe could have, considering obviously they knew the full rifle would come out in the previous round, expecting an eco at this point. Anyway, how aggressive they're playing in the early stages here, show their presence, have the expectation of this level of aggression in the minds of UNGENTIUM going into that next gun round, even if it's not exactly how they're going to play things out, because it can cause them to be a little bit more timid. Small bit of early presence outside B, and well, with that they're just going to shift it back around. They spotted this early A main aggression, so the hope is probably that RigoN is still aggressive and that maybe they can try and steal away a weapon. We know that's not going to happen though. He's already fallen back, but he doesn't have assistance all that nearby. It's going to be a fairly long rotation for him to get help, so there's a good chance of a bomb plant maybe.
2 Deagles in play as well, a couple of quick shots, and this becomes very awkward. There is now at least JxXx joining RigoN inside of the site. He's got 1 flashbang to work with, but they're playing for the picks here. byali gonna go for a look, won't find anything, but there's another Deagle behind him. Oh, if they can just connect a shot here, it gets nasty. But for now, bNE surviving the storm. RigoN will finally go down, but a 4-for-1 feels absolutely fine. And as long as Synopsy can find this last player without too much trouble, it's another very clean round for bNE. This time, 4 players kept up, mopping up those eco frags nice and smoothly. And like you said, Dean, you know, they've not got the MP9, so they're not going to build much money that way. But by keeping 4 rifles in hand, it's not a bad look either. They've got a buy in the back pocket now.
No, it's keeping them secure for, of course, the opportunity coming into this first gun round to not have any weaker weapons. I mean, as you said, they kind of do get a bonus round out of it. I mean, it'd be a little bit weaker in the following, but some money spare in the bank at the very least. Either way, UNGENTIUM into this first gun round, they realize how urgent the situation is. As we mentioned, of Ancient really to kick off this series is almost a requirement for them. So again, early initial presence with that utility rather shown by Bad News Eagles. They managed to push UNGENTIUM back from mid. And I've done the same pretty much down on towards B. There's very little presence anywhere at the moment for the D side. And, well, we're going to find a fight. Bad News Eagles decide they want to push forward. Juanflatroo somehow gets away with that kill right there. I don't know if he's going to live too much longer, though. Trapped in the corner by Groovy, who had also caught that mid aggression, taken out Synopsy. And with RIGON's aggression now following up on mid, he could be in trouble. As you can see, Sydney, they're waiting for that smoke initially to fade away on the other side of mid, has just now backed away. And that's probably for the best. Have the numbers advantage just barely with Ruby being low. Well, they have the ability maybe to punish this aggression further, but no, RIGON manages to come away with a kill. A second goes his way, and suddenly, with GXX pushing down the ramp, it's all into the hands of Sydney to try and pull off a miracle pretty much to save the day here. Well, the first kill is the start, sure.
Two players there, almost lines them up. Nice headshot onto Scenarii, but RIGON is able to stabilize things. bNE playing with fire a little bit there. As you said, a lot of timings on the board with that aggression from RIGON down mid. If Sydney waits for that smoke, goes out, well, he's going to be pincered in from two angles at once. And a little fortunate, honestly, for bNE that I was about to call them Furry Fury. I refuse to pronounce that. UNGENTIUM were going over towards the B site. A little fortunate that they walked into their entire stack. Works out for them regardless. And now an opportunity to keep that farming going. Currently 4-0 up, looking pretty clean thus far on the pistols. Looking to have some impact here. No, they need to get some damage out of this round. As Juanflatroo once again finds the opening, but once again is taken down low for his efforts.
They did do pretty good damage on towards Sydney as well, though, and from Scenarii at this point on towards Prism, I don't think they'll have too much trouble. Maybe the pistols can still come away with a kill or two, but in terms of the actual round at this point, it's looking pretty firmly in the hands of Bad News Eagles. Really at this point, it's just a hope for some mistakes to be made. Oh, the side unfortunately being spotted, and he was waiting it out. byali will get one. That's an op as well up close, so with a shot being missed, he gets the second frag. Fortunately, no weapon being recovered, and he will eventually be traded back on, but I mean, the bare minimum of 2 kills at least comes true. Put a dent in the economy, even if it's a small one on the side of Bad News Eagles, and well, hopefully you can come alive now. We'll go with UNG, will we, by the way? Just since that's what they have in their team tag there.
Sure.
I'm struggling getting UNGENTIUM out every time, not gonna lie. It's like, I don't normally have to use Latin mid-sentence, you know?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? And then you got the Latin combined with Furry Fury. So there's a very juxtaposed name there for you. Two very different themes.
I don't know. Maybe the Latin, maybe back in the ancient times of Rome and such, they were just really into furry.
You can really hear you there.
You can't prove it either way.
Sort of working through that to try and find a way to say what you wanted to say.
It's still early times here, and I don't normally have to think about history in the middle of a Counter-Strike cast, so...
we got there. We got there.
My brain's waking up. You know my sleeping schedule.
Yeah, UNGENTIUM need to wake up a little bit here as well. 5-0 down. The buy will keep coming. That maxed out loss bonus giving them a nice little boost to things, but again... They need to come up with an idea here. They need to come up with something a little novel to crack this defense, because at the moment, that mid control is lost immediately. Previously, they've been pushed off their B lane aggression, although this time Groovy is having none of it. Early molly in towards Dig. Juanflatroo pushing out from mid, and he catches him over top of the smoke. Will be traded away by Sydney, and that mid presence again. He tried to lurk this last time, didn't work out for him. This time, Sydney is able to punish the aggression, and that's a nice refrag to find. Buys a little bit of time, but look at RIGON. As soon as he realizes he smells a rat, he works his way in towards A, gets the kill. Meanwhile, Matthew has managed to open up B, and that makes things even more interesting. GXX missed shot, needed that one. Will look for a little more, and through the smoke connects onto byali to keep his team a man up. Fast flank as well, with Synopsy dealing with the first. This becomes increasingly ugly, and RIGON is quickly there to stabilize. Just feels like bNE at the moment, Dean, have a better idea of what UNGENTIUM are going to do than UNGENTIUM do, right? There's a flank there from RIGON that gets them the early kill. Then almost immediately, Synopsy is working his way up the ramp as they get the bomb down. It's a pincer in from 3 angles at once, and there's just nothing UNGENTIUM can do about it.
Yeah, I mean, if GXX didn't manage to catch that one kill onto, I think it was byali at the last second as the smoke started to bloom, though, maybe things go a different way. They have that extra bit of cover to ensure that they don't get flanked out as quickly, and maybe it would have been UNGENTIUM's round, but unfortunately that's not how it plays out, and at the moment it's a bit of a struggle. I mean, Maddie's starting off quite slow. It's worth noting that over the last 60 or so maps that they've played together, he's the only one of them with a positive KD, so they really, for me anyway, really will be relying on him stepping up and having a good battle on that off against GXX, and at the moment, certainly a slower start from him. Aggression should be expected. Grubby has definitely heard the footsteps. Rigon's actually peeked, I believe, in on mid at the same time. Scenario attempted some ramp aggression. That will allow the trade back, but I mean, it's a 1-for-1, and then there's a ton of damage done onto at least two of those players. Make it now all four of them. Nade goes in to finish off byali, and they're just being picked apart one by one. We don't even get an opportunity to see exactly how it unfolds because it's just one bullet here and there, and Nade landing near their feet, and suddenly Matty's left all alone. Didn't even have the bomb with him. It was back in spawn. He's going to pick that up, and I'll hope he can find some mistakes being made here within the next minute. I don't know if saving is all that great of an option either.
Might be able to get at least a pick. ESL's going to go for a wander down mid. He will get that nice headshot onto the second of Synopsy as well. And now this starts to get a little bit worrying for bNE. No real information about what's going on. Damage onto both of these remaining players as well. GXX and Juanflatroo struggling ever so slightly. GXX misses this early shot on the AWP, and it's a nice pre-fire angle for Matthew as well. We could be onto something here. As he lines things up, GXX, he's being lined up. He's being tagged down. 2 HP for the AWP, but he'll have to retreat. Plants come through. Matthew looking for the big 1v4 here. No utility to get himself into this one, so he's just going to have to play the site. Turtle up and hope he can line them up. Knocks down one, but not the second. Juanflatroo lightning quick on the response. And Matthew, it's a valiant effort. 3 kills to his name. Can't quite finish the job, but again, at the very least, it's going to force near enough a complete reinvestment from bNE because they've consistently been losing players, so the money's going to be a little bit slim.
Normally been at least a couple being knocked off the board. They haven't had too many 4 to 5 player rounds rather, where that many players managed to survive. So, as you said, maybe one more couple of round wins. It'd be 2 in a row in order to actually break it down. Ideal though, their utility here is a little bit weaker than I was hoping it would be. They have a Galil as well on Prism. He's even yet to get a frag, having a very rough game, and they push out for their mid-control. Synopsy doesn't even need vision, apparently. The spam true does some damage on Sydney, but more importantly, very quickly removes Grubby off the board. I would say, potentially one of the more impactful players. Nice catch by Sydney. It's a bit of damage, but importantly brings the numbers around in their favor alongside that kill from Matty, as ESL went for a very adventurous push into A main. I think maybe the overconfidence right now slightly playing into it.
Second time he's tried that. Once it worked, so why not give it another roll? Sydney on low HP is going to be in trouble here out red. Juanflatroo starting to clear his corners. Should be able to deal with him, and does. Surely gives away a little bit that B site's looking vulnerable, though. The B site player being caught in middle, and as they work their way up the ramp, UNGENTIUM, it is going to be Juanflatroo solo to defend. Up against 3. AWP trained on his position as well. A couple of warning shots fired away. Can't quite land. byali opens up the site. And a big opportunity here from UNGENTIUM. They find themselves 3 on 2. Scenario and GXX a long way away on this rotation, with Matthew also posted on the long angle. This is a really nice afterplant now for UNGENTIUM. Nade will chip away at the AWP, but he won't mind. Stays posted on the angle. Flashbang's just a little too late. GXX not quite making it work. And this will be the first round on the board for UNGENTIUM as GXX backs away to save. And it feels like they've just started to get a read on what bNE are doing, right? That time they get the early pick and presence in mid. They force the fights. They get themselves the 4-on-4, expecting the aggression out A main, which we haven't seen from them yet. And with 3 players left alive, it's a nice little win.
Yeah, in the earlier gun rounds, I mean, first gun round, I think they just got caught up outside of B with like 4 players, right? And had like the one holding on mid, and then they ended up losing out to the aggression. So, as you said, just kind of realizing if they do put that heavy presence around one area in the early stages, it's pretty likely a response is going to come in elsewhere. So, work feigning the presence and, as you said, punishing the A main aggression. I don't think it's going to be a way they can replicate a second round exactly. I'd imagine ESL's probably going to be a little bit more cautious now over on the A side of the map. The only problem is, even with that up being saved over, they decide against the force buy. And I think I'm with it because it's 7-1. They have the opportunity here maybe to still do something with pistols and an op. Hopefully just turn things around in their favor again as soon as the guns come out. But perhaps it's now OneFlatroo with the initial kill. Unfortunately, not expecting Prism to have already took themselves in up close behind the box there. So he pulls back 2 quick frags. See, no weapon's going to be recovered by the CTs either. So they're still just working with that one op and a couple of deagles. And as long as UNG work together from this point out, manage to trade effectively, there really shouldn't be too much trouble. Bar a bit of a hero play coming out from Bad News Eagles.
Here's the hero play. GXX peeking down B. Ruby is next up, and ESL just not expecting that presence. Will be taken down cleanly. At the very least, that's bomb spotted, which presents an interesting dilemma for the T side. Little do they know, Synopsy has got aggressive into A main as well, as GXX looks to lurk the AWP back towards mid. Timing's all over the place, as now Synopsy will start to work his way out of this main control and into Sydney, who's looking but not quite looking the right way. Gets taken out 2v2 now. GXX in the right position to cut this one down, and he takes the AWP on the transfer. Groovy is left in the 1v2. He's going to try and hunt this AWP, but with 30 seconds left on the clock, he's got to be conscious of the time. Synopsy picking up an AK in the meanwhile as well, and well, he's read it. GXX gets the kill, and as you said, Dean, an opportunity to do something with the pistols, but it's the saved AWP of GXX with 3, and a round out of nothing for bNE.
It's awkward. I mean, they should have maybe been a little bit more cautious initially there when peeking back towards the ramp once they had the 4-on-3. Obviously, they knew they had already taken contact around that area. There was the chance the up was posted on that longer range angle. At the very least, should have had the follow-up swing ready for an attempt at the trade, but yeah, unfortunately, that's a stumble that I don't think they can really withstand in this series right now. As we said, winning Ancient here is incredibly important, as Inferno is where we would definitely be favouring Bad News Eagles by quite a bit. Sadly, the economy isn't really there for everyone here. Gonna go for the buy anyway, understandably. They are down 8-1 already. They desperately need to grind out a few rounds here, but you're gonna have a Galil in there. And it could be slightly better, but overall there's the opportunity here to try and immediately bounce back. And the economy wouldn't withstand it again. It would be at most maybe 1 or 2 rifles alongside some pistols. This time it wouldn't be an eco either. They would actually be spending literally everything to get that. So the opportunity is still there. It just, I don't know if it's within their reach. Bad News Eagles at the moment seem to be a bit too much for them to handle.
At the very least, UNGENTIUM are trying something a bit different here. Control in towards main. Stack outside of mid, does chip away at 1, and it's, well, ESL, he's on a 1 and done angle here, to say the very least, on the high ground, but he can't find the shot. Prism takes him out, and now GXX under pressure. They're swarming him. JuanFlatroo on the rotation, though, is there to back his AWP up, and with 3 quick kills, they turn the tide. Groovy able to grab at least 1 and finally put that AWP down, but he loses everything else in the process. And Sydney is left with the 1v3 to try and clutch up. OneFlatroo ready and waiting for it, and again, bNE just being so proactive across the map is buying them so much room to work with, right? That time we see them pushing down mid, they get the mid control, they work out there's nothing going on there, so OneFlatroo immediately is thinking about rotations. No noise outside of B when we've seen it so consistently. bNE are reading this like a book, and it's making it very difficult for UNGENTIUM to get anything done, because at the moment, quite frankly, it feels like bNE know what UNGENTIUM are going to do before UNGENTIUM have worked it out themselves.
Yeah, I mean, they're a team that's so enjoyable to watch when they're playing at their best, and it doesn't even necessarily need to be the most tactical. At the moment, their calls are good, they are taking good initiative, but it's just how the individuals are playing that is so fun. They're all so confident in their ability. Maybe sometimes it backfires as it did for ESL, but then with everyone else being as strong as they are, they can make up for those smaller mistakes. ESL goes down. Will they be able to recover it this time is the question. Not everyone is actually ready for this A commitment. That's the problem. I'm sure they get this up and there's a second player pushed through with them, but they don't have the bomb anywhere nearby. The question is, can they cause more trouble here to maybe let that bomb have success elsewhere on the map? Groovy manages to get a decent kill there on OneFlatroo. That's another weapon in their hands now. Sydney brought down low, but with Scenarii damaged, with Synopsy here under pressure as well, this round could very quickly spiral out of control for Bad News Eagle.
This is chaos now. They've got full A-site control in UNGENTIUM, but that bomb is so far away. Groovy going to go for a swing, and GXX again, not quite able to land the shot. Teammate goes down, and this is a golden opportunity now for UNGENTIUM. 2v4, and I don't think the CT side really want anything to do with it. Scenarii and GXX looking at the economy of their team, looking at the situation they find themselves in, have backed away from it. headed over towards that B site, and you've got to imagine this is going to be the save call. So a little bit of a round out of nothing really for UNGENTIUM. A quick deagle pick onto RIGON, gets an AWP into their hands, and from there, it just felt like there was chaos across the map. Nobody really knew what was going on whatsoever, and maybe that's the solution. A little bit of chaos, caught a few rotations off guard, and they nabbed themselves around.
I mean, how many times have we seen this, though? The weaker weapons manage to thrive. As you're kind of saying, the pressure's off. People are willing to try something a bit crazier, and the chaos can allow those weaker weapons to find success. We'll see whether it's able to be replicated now. And I would say there's a decent shot. Even with these weapons being saved, the economy isn't going to be perfect. Sure, they will scrape together a buy, and it'll have most of the weapons. Should actually be able to drop over to both Synopsy and RIGON, so it'll cost them everything, but they'll have the full buy in play. As long as they can take this one back, they'd likely still have a shot at coming through with even a 13-2.5. On the other hand, if UNG have the ability to take this round, suddenly it's an eco for Bad News Eagles. They're up towards at least 4 rounds on this T side, and with still a shot of coming out with 6, which would be a miraculous recovery from the position that they were in. So I'm not counting UNG out of this right now. Looking like a fairly standard default split once again. We are going to have some cave aggression, though, I believe, from Bad News Eagles. It's a little bit later, surprisingly so.
Yeah, spawns weren't quite right for them. Decent tick of molly damage taken by RIGON as well, so he'll back away. So often those half-buy losses are the ones that can really just start to pull the thread and unravel the whole thing. So much economic damage. As you're seeing here with bNE in a little bit of an odd spot. 2 players stacked up in towards cave at the moment as they're just going to try and hold on to that portion of the map, and it's cost them the aggression we've normally seen elsewhere. Pot flash to get in though, and they line up. JuanFlatroo combining well with RIGON to get 2 opening picks. And again, it's UNGENTIUM on the back foot. Sydney looking to correct that though. Does manage to find a quick pick in middle. And again, with that lack of mid control, you can see the CT starting to scramble a little bit. Saneri working his way into Donut. JuanFlatroo, once again, the thorn in the side of Matthew as he finds the flank timing. And 2v4, I mean, they've abandoned the A site, the B site rather, so there is definitely timings here for byali. The question is, how soon do the CT side realize where the hole is and start to look to patch it?
Good catch by Sydney, at least, but unfortunately, dink down low before actually getting the kill, and the nade's going to finish him off. No way you can survive that, and with that, the only hope really is a bomb plant, at least adding to the economy. It is gonna say possible that at least a bomb plant gives them the full buy, but with a kill before getting this bomb down now, suddenly he has a small bit of time to try reposition. Saneri doesn't have his assistance here yet, so I was gonna say the chance to force this 1v1 in towards the caves was there for byali. Unfortunately, Saneri instead was able to create the angle. Plenty of time, of course, for that defuse, but both of them having kits, and I think RIGON was just trying to hope there was a bit of utility around to be found. Unfortunately not, but they get their 10th round. Importantly, they've managed to swing straight back and again stop UNG from getting any sort of momentum going for themselves. The bomb plant, as I mentioned, at the very least lets them buy again, including an op onto Matty. He's definitely picked it up a small bit, but he's still not standing out as much as I would hope for, considering the level of statistics he's been putting up on this team so far. He really is a massive standout regularly. As I said, he's the only one of them with a positive KD over their past 61 maps that they've played together, so it's an interesting statistic to look at.
Not a great one to have to say either.
Net damage. Not bad.
Good chip. Synopsy into a dangerous region, trying to hold on to that mid control. Never a particularly comfortable place to be. Stuck between the B lane and mid and Z. There's so many angles that you're vulnerable to, but holding on to that control again, and this is starting to reek of those early rounds where bNE were really dominating. As once again, UNGENTIUM, 4 players just queued up outside of these B doors, and utility refresh to come in again from Saneri as he looks to take that control. Difference is this time the rotation is actually over towards the A site, leaving just Saneri and Synopsy here to defend the lanes. Smoke start to come over the top. They should start to work out what's going on, but One flashbang over the top feels like it really could start to unravel this one. Saneri tucked close on the right-hand side of the doors. A lot to do. Blinded up. Can only get the 1-for-1. Teammate able to at least trade, but it's into the even 3-on-3. And with Matthew finding the pick onto RigoN, suddenly it's the man advantage for UNGENTIUM with 35 seconds left. Miss flash. Flatroo goes down. And GXX, well, he's looking to do the impossible. USP gets him one. He wants another. He wants byali. He's flashed out. byali goes for the knife and misses, and Sydney bails him out. Oh, for a split second there, that looked dangerous, team.
You could feel the quick step out and quick scope, man. You know, only thing, unfortunately, was the Molotov, of course, making that damn near impossible. If he stepped to the side, he might have burned alive before he could get a shot off. So, yeah, managing to come away with really a lot more than he should have gotten in that corner. Some extra damage at least being piled on the economy and not allowing for UNG to really build up any economy. So, gives them the shot to bounce back. If they somehow can win this force buy right now, they have an opportunity to still end at 11-4. Considering they've only got pistols here, very little utility behind it as well. This should be UNG's opportunity to pretty much confirm the 5 round for themselves. Ruby will be able to catch that aggression as well. So Nopsy falls, and it's like they just want to straight up call the commitment on towards A. There's very quick rotations coming in as well. As we said though, with it just being pistols in play, a lot that they can do at range. Juanflatroo is 5-7 on the other hand in towards Donut. We'll get one quickly on Prism, forcing it through. The bomb yet to be planted, and they're just getting overrun on the bomb site. The flashes are perfect. Saneri manages to trade out Sydney, who had done his best despite being completely blind, and suddenly it's a one-on-one. byali with a perfect molly though on the back of the bomb site there. Might just force the angle, and RigoN pops his head up, and byali will take it. It's a lot scrappier than it should have been, but at this point I don't think it matters for UNG as long as they get the round wins.
Oh, you were on your edge of your seat there. That was not fun to witness. bNE, as you said, just getting the rotation in early and then swarming the site with absolutely everything they had. Just trying to see if they could get anything done at all as UNGENTIUM now take the pause. Try to work this one through. Don't mind it. I mean, we always say it every single time we say this. We go, they don't use their pauses enough. We don't see teams using their pauses. They don't use them well enough. They don't use them often enough. So I like this. Just pause. You've got pauses in your back pocket. Your economy's a little all over the shop. So use a bit of time to work out how you're going to get the buy together, what the strategy is. Because, I mean, you said it a few rounds ago at 9-6, but a 10-5 half feels pretty miraculous for UNGENTIUM, really, given how dominant bNE have looked. The rounds they've lost have really put them on the back foot on this CT side, and we'll see it as we come into this last buy of the half. I mean, you've got 1 rifle, an MP9, and 3 deagles to try and defend with.
Drinking some orange juice is very sweet. But yeah, I mean, it's slightly better than the buy in the previous round at least. They have a rifle this time behind it. Utility's pretty much the same. There's no kit if it comes down to a retake. Again, ideally they will want to cause chaos as they did in the previous one and manage to stop things in their tracks before the bomb can actually go down. For now though, nothing too crazy coming out. A little bit of aggression here up around B. We'll confirm for the moment that there's not really a lot going on this side of the map for UNG. They do look to be favouring in towards an A split, which could work in their favour, yeah, especially as Juanflatroo already gets that initial kill on byali. I was gonna say his flank might have worked once they got contact around Donut against RigoN, but he decides the initiative there on that peak is going to be a better idea, and indeed it is. It actually eases a lot of pressure. Some good damage done onto Sydney and Matty as well. Sure, they're both only down to 60 or so. Apologies, hit my mic there. But with the deagles being in play, that's a massive help.
Again, you start to feel a little nervous, don't you? 50 seconds left on the clock. Still plenty of utility to plan this into an execute. But once again, bNE are starting to get a read on this situation. 3 players in towards the A site as the utility pops out. Molotov to try and force GXX into the open, which it does. A tag and nothing more. Prism down low. Sydney finds the kill, however, and now Synopsy with a lot to do, but they line up for him, make it easy. 2 for 1. And Groovy trying to stabilize the situation will be his next victim. Sydney this time thrown into the 1v2 as Synopsy looking to do a bit of gun juggling. Scenario on full HP will get the rifle. Sydney looks to bait just a little bit more info. The pistol baits him in, and Scenario knocks him down. 11-4 as we head into the half. And that, I mean, that was a dominant performance, considering that's UNGENTIUM's map pick as well. And you look at the stats, and sure, bNE are a little CT-sided, but UNGENTIUM are pretty evenly matched. I mean, that's a dominant half.
Yeah, especially the early stages where it was usually 3 or 4 players alive in all those gun rounds and all for bNE as well. It was surprising to me that the economy was kept as low as it was. It didn't really seem like that much damage done. On the pistols, it seemed like they had a little bit more success, maybe, but only towards the end did they manage to put up any sort of a fight at all. And I just as you said, I don't think it's really going to be enough. They're going to need a tremendous CT half. Before we get there, though, guys, we are going to be sending over to just a short break. So stick with us. We will be back ASAP.
Well, after a dominant first half by bNE, UNGENTIUM needing a very swift turnaround if they are to make something of their map pick in this best of 3. And you'd have to say, Dean, it's probably got to start with the pistol. They've not left themselves much of a buffer whatsoever.
No, not at all. If they were to lose this, there'd be maybe one gun round between them and the Fee here on map 1. So, as you said, that cannot be allowed to happen. Only one player towards the B side of the map right now as well for UNGENTIUM. The gamble that they've taken in the early stages here looking like it might be the wrong one, unfortunately. There is a kit in play, so if they need to play for the retake, there is a small positive. Unfortunately, the hope would have been for Prism to maybe catch 1 or 2 on the fadeaway. Well, he will do some decent damage to the smoke there onto ESL. There's still plenty of time for Bad News Eagles, as we can see, to set up for this afterplant, to put themselves in strong positions, to play with these Glocks up close and personal where they're favoured. It's already Groovy and has been taken down by this long flank from GXX, and that's going to put the wheels in motion now. They've got to move fast before, of course, that flank can cause too many issues, and, well, it's already going to be in play. GXX manages to take out 1. They're on the bomb, though, or at least they were attempting to. Unfortunately, being pulled off there by the spam, and now it's all on Matty. Sure, it's come down to a 1 versus 1, but he should be able to get out and stop it in time, and that got incredibly close. Maybe a second and a half, I think, away from the full defuse there, but it is going to be eventually just about clinched out by Bad News Eagle.
That kit nearly got them over the line. Nice smoke in towards Cave, isolated the fights, forced them through the smokes, bNE, and, well, without that flank of GXX, it would have been a done deal. He does a fantastic job just continually chipping away at UNGENTIUM as they try and get that retake going. And at 12-4 down, the full eco is not what you would have wanted to see if you're a fan of UNGENTIUM. They've got 1 flashbang on Matthew to see if maybe they can get something going. I like this. It's a novel idea. 4 players in towards Donut. They'll flash themselves out. Or not. They'll just walk out. Not seeing anything at all just yet. The 1 flash is on Matthew, though, as he works his way round in towards mid. And this is a nice little stack. I like it. GXX has got 1, and that should give the game away now. And there you go. The MAC-10 starting to just farm away any cash that they did have. And very quickly dealt with. Just the 1 casualty as well for bNE. They won't be fussed about that.
Fortunate, the smoke, I think, started to fade a bit too quick. I thought they might have had the chance to get their flash pop through it and just all swarm at the same time. And at that point, who knows, maybe things could have went a little bit better for them. Their way, the 1 kill comes in, considering they only had a flash invested into. That's not too bad, but obviously considering the scoreline, they need to start winning some rounds. So this is their only real chance to get themselves back on their feet now. It's really now or never. Weaker weapons being retained by bNE, but only the 2 Galils as well, so I wouldn't really call this much of a weaker round. It's not quite the bonus round either, though. Early utility put down around the cave. It looks like it will stop bNE for the moment. Oh, that looked like it was going to be a nice lineup still, though. It will land on Prism. Not enough for the kill, but it's a ton of damage already heavily weakening them up. Putting the pressure on towards this B bomb site, and look how limited the utility is already at this stage. There's over 1 minute and 20 seconds left, and they've only got 2 smokes, a molly, and a flash.
Multiple executes in the back pocket for bNE as well, as they just now start to probe into that mid control. Utility to flush out the fights. Hoping for some aggression as well here. Scenari peering into A main, not seeing anything, and the aggression actually is going to be down this B ramp. Timing of this could well decide the round. Synopsy currently knife out. He's looking to boost his teammate up. Needs to get his weapon out. Smartish. The blue stuff's red. And now they look to swing. They look to fight. And it's a team kill that is their undoing. Even 3-on-3. RigoN strikes. And the B site has fallen. Lurking towards mid as well for JuanFlatroo. Should be good for a freebie here. Groovy not going to expect it whatsoever. And at this point, Matthew, I think he needs to try and save that AWP. They need something to keep them fighting. The economy absolutely decimated now for UNGENTIUM, and indeed, he's going to try and back away, but try is the word, because JuanFlatroo is hunting. Timing's awkward for him. Doesn't spot his man as he works his way into Temple, so Matthew might be able to thread the needle here and get out alive. But the timings will be a little bit troublesome, because the support is now actually coming for JuanFlatroo as well.
A little bit unfortunate, I'm going to say, over on the ramp right there. Prism was just so low. He stepped out 1 bullet, and he's having a very rough game as well at 4-17 right now. So getting team killed is only going to make him a little bit more aggravated, rather. And as we said, that really was a must-win round right there. North of 40 in now. They're going to have just the op carried over, sure, but you can barely even really afford pistols behind it. Ruby's going to get a deagle and Kevlar. The others are going to invest a bit as well, and they do have the full loss bonus coming, but still, you want to ensure that you have everything in this next round so that you can start clawing back into the game a small bit, even if it's not fully for an overtime, just to get something going so that hopefully we'll find them with a bit more confidence going into Inferno. It's just a quick B rush as well. I like this. The pace up, just keep it quick. It's 40 and 4. Just show the confidence that you're currently just embroiled with. And Synopsy, I'm not sure where he was getting shot from there. That was confusing me. Did he get wall banged?
It was cave. Yeah. It was cave. He was swinging the corner angle. It's a rough old angle to deal with. And you could see Synopsy's confusion in that one as well. But Matthew's picked off one here. And to be very honest, at this point, I'd quite like to see them save that rifle. Synopsy is going to get taken down freely, though, and that might start to tempt them back into this one. byali being smoked off, still an issue. If he could find a pick, then maybe they start to be tempted, but that clock already so far gone as RIGON deals with one. Yeah, an AK and an AWP to bring into the next round is a nice little result from the CT side, so it's a 15th round on the board for bNE. And the dominance on UNGENTIUM's map pick continues. This is... well, it's a bit brutal, to be honest with you, Dave.
I'd say a bit is maybe understating it. It's been quite rough. I mean, we had the late stages of that first half where we saw UNG managing to get a bit of a recovery, of course, but even then they were very shaky rounds. It was coming down to kind of hero plays coming out, close clutches and such, so there's never been a moment where it's looked like UNG had it in them to really get the comeback going. It was always kind of, okay, that's something, but they need to build off of it. Fortunately, they just never got that far into it. Synopsy with the double kill on mid. Scenario was trying to help him out a little bit. He just put down suppressing fire. He'll have his opportunity now, though, to catch his B aggression as Sydney falls. And, well, taking one to the grave with him alongside Prism's kill as well does give some hope back to UNG here. But it's a 2-on-3. They still need to flip on its head in order just to find some life.
They're fighting for every ounce of control they can get here. And Matthew might have an opportunity. Scenario works his way back into mid, then maybe that's something, but now Matthew's on his own. 1v3, not v3. That's a demolition job straight up from bNE, making it look disgustingly simple on UNGENTIUM's map pick. You know, we were building this up. We were talking about how it looked competitive. It looked like UNGENTIUM could have a real chance if they stole map one. That's a statement put down by bNE. That is a line in the sand that says we want to be making it out of this group clean.
Yeah, and I think Inferno is kind of a similar feel in terms of the play style as well. So I do think that the level of play is likely